Luckily, Android games are evolving a lot. What used to be just casual online games to pass the time has now turned into very complex games and even competitive ones. In this list, we're going to do something a little different and focus on premium offline games to play on mobile. So you already know, drop a like and come with me. WRECKFEST Mobile is without a doubt the spiritual successor to the Destruction Derby series. Many people don't even know a mobile version exists, and let's talk about it now. It's a full contact racing game focused on realistic destruction physics. Forget shiny licensed cars, here you race with junkers, lawnmowers, school buses and even motorized sofas. The game engine calculates metal deformation in real time. If you crash the side of your car into a pole, it will dent exactly at that point, directly affecting the handling. WRECKFEST is one of the most technically impressive ports on the App Store and Play Store, and its business model reflects that quality. Shattering glass, flying tires and metal debris scattered across the track remain there for the entire race, demanding a lot from your phone's processor. It delivers dynamic shadows, ambient occlusion and mud/dust textures that rival the PS4 and Xbox One versions. Trials of Mana 2020 on mobile is one of the most impressive examples of how Square Enix can fit a modern console RPG entirely inside a smartphone. You choose 3 characters from a cast of 6. Depending on who you select as the protagonist and as companions, the story, dialogues, and even the final villain change completely. Each character can evolve into different paths, light or dark, changing their abilities, outfits, and roles in the party, like a damage-focused warrior or a support with healing magic. The term premium here isn't just about the price, but about delivering a finished product with extremely high fidelity. Unlike pocket versions like Final Fantasy XV Pocket Edition, Trials of Mana on mobile is exactly the same game you would find on PS4 or Nintendo Switch. Tomb Raider 2013 on mobile has a very specific exclusivity story. It isn't available for just any smartphone on the regular App Store or Play Store, and that's why it's considered a premium game.
Absolutely flawless, which is great. Credit to her.
Okay, take it slow.
This is the game that rebooted the Lara Croft franchise, making her more human, vulnerable, and realistic. Lara is a young archaeologist who gets shipwrecked on a mysterious island called Yamatai. You watch her evolve from a frightened survivor into the Tomb Raider we know. It wasn't a mobile version with downgraded graphics, it was the PC game running natively on the Tegra K1/X1 chip. In the mobile world, 99% of games are designed to make you spend money every 10 minutes. Tomb Raider 2013 breaks that. It delivers a 12 to 15 hour campaign with professional voice acting and a high quality script. Originally a massive hit on PC and consoles, it arrived on mobile devices. Let's talk about the legendary SUBNAUTICA Mobile. It's an open world survival game set almost entirely underwater on the alien planet 4546b. After your ship Aurora crashes, you find yourself stranded in a life pod in the middle of an endless ocean. You must manage oxygen, food and water while diving into deep trenches to gather resources. The game allows you to build complex underwater bases and iconic vehicles like the small Seamoth and the massive Cyclops submarine. Your phone has to process the rendering of fauna, flora and biomes in real time while you move quickly with vehicles. The mobile market is full of survival games that make you wait hours to craft an item or ask for money so you don't die. In Subnautica, it's fully offline and extremely complete. Resident Evil 4, specifically the 2023 remake on mobile, is one of the most extreme examples of how the barrier between consoles and smartphones is disappearing. Let's talk about it now. This is a complete reimagining of the 2005 classic. You control Leon S. Kennedy on a rescue mission in rural Spain to save the US president's daughter, and you probably already know how it plays. It's simply one of the best Resident Evil games in the world. The game is a stress test for mobile processors. It requires technologies that only exist in the latest Apple chips. The game uses Apple's AI to render at a lower resolution and scale the image with quality, allowing a phone to run something that would normally require a dedicated graphics card. Talking about Red Dead Redemption is interesting because at the same time it's impressive how ports keep getting better, and of course we're going to talk about it now.
Let's go!
Originally released in 2010 and recently remastered, it's considered one of the greatest games of all time. It's an open-world epic set at the end of the Old West. You play as a former outlaw forced by the government to hunt down members of his old gang to save his family. The game features a complete ecosystem with over 30 animal species, dynamic towns, and random events that make the world feel alive. The mobile version, based on the 2023 remaster, keeps the high-definition textures, dynamic shadows, and the massive draw distance. You can see city lights from miles away. Unlike unstable emulators, the official version is optimized to maintain 30 frames per second or 60 frames per second. Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown is the triumphant return of Ubisoft's franchise, and it arrived on mobile devices as one of the most fluid and technical action experiences ever seen on a smartphone. You play as Sargon, the youngest member of an elite group of warriors on a mission to rescue the prince on the cursed Mount Kaf. Throughout the journey, you unlock abilities that let you manipulate time and space, such as creating copies of yourself to solve puzzles or perform devastating aerial combos. The term premium here describes a multi-million-dollar AAA game fully ported to mobile without the limitations of free-to-play titles. On mobile, it was optimized to maintain a steady 60 frames per second and even higher on 120Hz displays, which is essential for a fast-paced action game. Planet of Lana is one of the most recent and visually stunning additions to the mobile game catalog, and let's talk about it as well. It's a 2D cinematic adventure and puzzle game. You take on the role of Lana, a young girl living on a paradisiacal planet that is suddenly invaded by a cold and mysterious machine army. Early on, you meet Mui, a small and agile black creature. The entire game is based on the cooperation between Lana and Mui to solve puzzles and avoid dangers. Planet of Lana lasts around 4 to 5 hours. It's a complete experience with a beginning, middle, and an emotional ending. The mobile version didn't suffer any content cuts or artistic downgrades. The transition to touch controls was handled carefully, allowing you to command Mui, asking him to wait or follow intuitively through gestures on the screen. Pascal's Wager is often called the Dark Souls of mobile. It was one of the first games to prove that the Souls-like genre, known for its extreme difficulty and dark visuals, could also work on mobile. It's a dark fantasy action RPG. The world is covered in an eternal black fog where the sun has fallen and people lose their sanity when touched by this darkness. You don't play with just one warrior, you switch between 4 playable characters like the protagonist Terence or the gunner Viola, each with completely different combat styles and skill trees. Forget button mashing. Here you must manage your stamina, learn enemy attack patterns, and know the exact moment to dodge or parry. Pascal's Wager gained worldwide attention when it was showcased at an Apple event, proving that iPhone chips at the time could already compete with consoles. Oceanhorn 2, Knights of the Lost Realm, is often called the Zelda of the iPhone, and for good reason. Let's talk about it now. Unlike the first game, which was isometric, and unlike Mirage and Death Stranding that we discussed earlier, Oceanhorn 2 was built in Unreal Engine 4 with a third-person perspective, focusing on open-world exploration. You travel through the world of Gaia, exploring jungles, mountains, and cities using vehicles, boats, and even a jetpack. It mixes sword combat and magic use with the caster pistol with classic environmental puzzles heavily inspired by The Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild. The term premium here applies both to the absence of abusive monetization practices and to its technical ambition. The game was designed to look like a PS4 or Nintendo Switch title running natively on iOS. NORTHGARD on mobile is a perfect example of real-time strategy done right, and maybe the only strategy game perfectly ported to mobile. Let's talk about it. Inspired by Norse mythology, the game puts you in control of a Viking clan that has just discovered a new, mysterious and dangerous continent called NORTHGARD. It's not just about building an army and attacking. You must manage resources like food and wood to survive the harsh winters of the region, which can wipe out your population if you're not prepared. NORTHGARD stands out in the sea of mobile strategy games, usually focused on waiting hours to build something, for being a complete console/PC software experience. The biggest challenge for an RTS on mobile is the lack of mouse and keyboard. Premium NORTHGARD solves this with smart automation and very complete menus. The release of Naruto Shippuden Ultimate Ninja Storm for mobile devices was a shock to the gaming community precisely because it's an offline game. This is a direct port of the first Storm game, originally released for the PlayStation 3. It retells the beginning of Naruto's journey from training with Kakashi to the search for Sasuke. You fight in open arenas with full freedom of movement, being able to run on walls and use the environment to your advantage. You can explore the hidden leaf village, Konoha, fully in 3D, completing side missions, jumping from rooftop to rooftop, and interacting with characters from the anime. Bandai Namco chose to follow the path of elite games instead of the traditional free-to-play model. Unlike light or adapted versions, this is the full console version. My Time at Portia, Minha Vida in Portia, is one of the most beloved life and farming simulators of the last decade. Even though it's relatively unknown, it's considered a premium game, and let's talk about it now. Set in a colorful and peaceful post-apocalyptic land, you inherit your father's abandoned workshop in the town of Portia. Unlike other simulators that focus 90% on farming, here you are a builder. The main goal is to fulfill requests from the mayor and the townspeople to construct bridges, vehicles, industrial machines, and even wind turbines. Portia is full of NPCs with their own routines. You can build friendships, date, marry, and even have children with almost every resident town. The term premium is essential here since the mobile version of Portia is considered by many players to be even better than the console versions, like the Nintendo Switch version, for example. Misguided Never Back Home Remastered is a title that gained a lot of attention in the mobile horror community, and let's talk about it now. It's a third-person survival horror game heavily inspired by Indonesian culture and myth. You control Sylvia, a young woman searching for her close friends in a mystical and terrifying world filled with folkloric creatures and dark rituals. The remastered version focused intensely on turning the environment into something alive and where sound and lighting are used to guide or scare the player. The remastered edition was rebuilt to take advantage of the power of modern smartphones and to update the game, since nowadays it was considered an older title but with interesting graphics. Sylvia and the creatures were refined with smoother animations, bringing the experience closer to what you would expect from a portable console. MANEATER on mobile is one of the most fun and technically ambitious examples of a direct console port, and let's talk about it now. You start as a small bull shark pup that survives an attack from a shark hunter, Scaly Pete. Throughout the game, you eat fish, humans, and alligators to grow, becoming an adult shark, an elder, and finally a megafauna. You can equip mutations on your shark, such as electric teeth, bone armor, or bioelectric fins, completely changing how you fight. The game takes place across 7 different regions, from toxic swamps to luxury ocean resorts, each with its own secrets and alpha predators. It keeps the water effects, reflections, and dismemberment animations. Yes, the game is visceral that we saw on PS4 and Xbox One. Little Nightmares is one of the most acclaimed horror and platform games of the last decade. There is a mini version for mobile, but of course we're going to talk about the full version. In the game, you control Six, a small girl in a yellow raincoat who is trapped inside the maw, a massive and mysterious vessel filled with corrupted souls and grotesque creatures that want to capture her. Unlike games with cheap jump scares, this one focuses on discomfort, eerie sound design, and the feeling of being tiny in a giant and hostile world. The mobile version is the complete console game adapted to the small screen. It keeps the dynamic lighting and 3D audio, which are essential for immersion and for knowing where enemies are coming from. While the mobile market is saturated with free games that interrupt the experience with ads, Little Nightmares follows the premium ethic. Hitman Blood Money Reprisal, released in late 2023, is the definitive version of one of the most iconic stealth games in history. Let's talk about it now. In this game, you take on the role of Agent 47, a cold and calculated contract killer. The goal isn't to go in shooting, but to execute the perfect crime. Each mission is a soundbox. You can eliminate your target by poisoning food, causing a chandelier accident, using disguises, or if everything goes wrong, the good old-fashioned shootout. This mobile version isn't just a simple port, it added Instinct mode, which highlights targets and points of interest, along with a minimap and trespassing alerts. The game was optimized to run at a locked 60 frames per second on modern devices with almost instant loading times compared to the original 2006 release. Harvest Moon Home Sweet Home, released in August 2024, is a title that marks a different moment for the franchise on mobile because it's the only game in the Harvest Moon series made exclusively for smartphones. In this game, you leave the busy city life to return to your childhood village, Alba. The goal is to revitalize the town, which is losing its young residents to big cities. The focus is the classic cycle of planting, harvesting, caring for animals, cows, sheep, chickens, and mining. The difference is the happiness system. By helping villagers and improving the town, you attract new residents and tourists. Unlike most casual farming games, Home Sweet Home doesn't have energy bars that force you to wait hours or pay to keep playing, and unlike many ports we talked about here, Harvest Moon was designed from zero for mobile. Grid Autosport is widely considered the king of racing simulators on mobile. Originally released for consoles, many people don't even know it also exists on Android. Let's talk about it. Unlike arcade racing games, Grid focuses on professional motorsport. It's not about escaping the police, but about winning championships on real circuits and famous street tracks. The damage system is realistic. If you crash hard, the suspension bends, the engine loses power, or a tire blows out. There are over 100 cars and 100 circuits around the world. Grid Autosport is the perfect example of what happens when a company decides not to downgrade a game just to make it fit on a phone. What you play on your smartphone is exactly the same game that was on PC and consoles. Right now, I believe it's the best offline mobile racing game on the Play Store. Forgotten Memories Remastered, released in late 2024, is a rare gem on mobile. It's the definitive version of a game that was already iconic for trying to capture the soul of Silent Hill. Let's talk about it now. It's a third-person psychological survival horror game. You take on the role of Rose Hawkins, a detective who wakes up injured in an abandoned asylum while investigating the disappearance of a child. The game focuses on exploration, limited resource management, ammo and flashlight batteries, and puzzle solving. Unlike the original 2015 version, the remaster was rebuilt with modern graphic technologies. All characters and environments were redone in high resolution, supporting up to 120 frames per second and 2K/4K resolution on compatible devices. It's the complete game with remastered audio and videos without that aggressive compression common in cheap mobile ports. ASTRIS is a fascinating case in the mobile industry. Released in 2024, it stands out for being a bold move, a high-budget RPG made exclusively for smartphones. Let's talk about it. It's a 3D sci-fi RPG with a stunning anime aesthetic. You play as Yan, an investigator sent to the planet Alindo, a world where the sun never sets. One side is eternal day, the other is perpetual night. The game mixes turn-based combat with real-time action. You choose the attacks, but you must perform parries, blocks, and dodges at the right moment during the enemy's turn. Somewhat reminiscent of the dynamic seen in Final Fantasy or Valkyrie Profile. While the other games we mentioned came from consoles to mobile, ASTRIS took the opposite path. It was designed for smartphones but with a console mindset. Divinity Original Sin 2. Definitive Edition is widely considered one of the best RPGs of all time. When it arrived on mobile devices, it showed what can be done on Android. Let's talk about it. Developed by Larian Studios, the game is an isometric fantasy RPG focused on absolute freedom. You can talk to animals, teleport enemies off cliffs, set the environment on fire, and interact with almost every object. Your choices truly shape the world and the story. Unlike other games that are adapted with cuts, the mobile version of Divinity 2 is a port with no compromises, which puts it in an elite tier. The game was rebuilt from scratch to run on Apple hardware. It's so demanding that it was one of the first titles to demonstrate the real power of the M1 and M2 chips in tablets. Besides that, the game supports crossplay and also split screen. It's possible to play with two people on the same iPad screen, each with their own controller, something extremely rare on mobile devices. Death Stranding Director's Cut on mobile follows the same logic as Assassin's Creed Mirage. It's a direct port, and precisely because of that being a premium game, let's talk about it. In the game, you control Sam Porter Bridges in a post-apocalyptic world where humanity lives isolated. The focus isn't frantic combat, but logistics. You must cross rough terrain carrying cargo, managing weight, balance, and the condition of the delivery. You don't see other players, but the structures they build, bridges, roads, shelters, appear in your world and vice versa. It's a game about indirectly cooperating to rebuild society. Just like Mirage, it redefines what a smartphone is capable of, being considered premium for three main pillars: hardware, graphics engine, and also because it's a one-time purchase game. Assassin's Creed Mirage is a milestone in the gaming industry because it's not just a mobile version, but the actual console and PC game running natively on a mobile device. Let's talk about it. Originally released in 2023, Mirage is a love letter to the early games of the franchise. It leaves behind the massive RPG style of recent titles like Valhalla to focus on something more classic like stealth, parkour, and an older story. You play as Basim, a street thief who becomes a master assassin. It's a shorter and more linear journey focused on narrative. It doesn't run on just any device. The game was optimized specifically for chips with ray tracing technology and high processing power, iPhone 15 Pro, iPhone 15 Pro Max, the entire iPhone 16 lineup, and iPads with an M1 chip or higher. Unlike common mobile games like Free Fire or Genshin Impact that are built from scratch for mobile, Mirage is the same code as the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X. And that's it. These are some of the most impressive premium games you can play on mobile right now. See you in the next video.